Hi, I'm Sarah and welcome to CoreMoodz. Today I will be sharing with you every book I rated 5 stars so far this year. I have read a lot of different kinds of books. Most of the times I just have a feeling that a book is gonna be 5 stars. But sometimes I'm surprised by 5 stars and that doesn't happen that often. But I have 10 books that I want to talk about with you today. The first book is the first book that I started this year with, Beloved by Toni Morrison. And this book is a classic. I don't think I have to explain to you who Toni Morrison is, the impact of the stories on millions of people. I picked it up this year when I was doing my modern classics reading vlog reset. During that vlog, I was trying to be more mindful about the books that I was picking up. For a long time, I've been avoiding Beloved. So I just tackled it and just read it and I loved it. And it was so haunting and dark and intense and parts of it were traumatizing. Beloved is a story about Sethe, a young slave girl, and the atrocities and horrible things that are done to her and the limits that she is pushed to and a horrific act that she feels that she is forced to commit. The ripple effects on everyone, on the space, on the house, and on Sethe. Sethe's mind, Sethe's heart. I think Sethe's story was so memorable that it will always just stay with me, especially because it's based on a true story. It's a very gothic book and it has a little bit of an otherworldly quality. The writing is great, the story is very intense. Please check the trigger warnings before picking it up, but I would recommend this book to anyone. The second book is Hunchback by Sao Ishikawa. This book is a very interesting book because the story centers around this disabled woman. She has lost control of large parts of her body. She is fully reliant on caregivers and other people to help her to get through the day. She has this intense curiosity and very raw and very edgy personality, and she connects with people online, and she has like this account, and on that account she's sharing some desires and she leaves like very disturbing thoughts that she is having, and people think she's being shocking and just trying to enrage people. But we go through with her through her day and we understand how she thinks and why she thinks that, what are the extreme things that she's thinking and fantasizing about. A few of the things are illegal. The story starts with her routine being disturbed and this new person, a man, coming to help her and bathe her, and she's fantasizing about it, sexualizing the encounter. Something develops between the two of them, something toxic. A deal is made. I think I discovered something about myself in 2026. I like to be uncomfortable. I like to be disturbed. I like to be shocked. I think the more disgusting something gets, the more intrigued I am. I was surprised because this book presents itself as literary fiction. There is something very horrific about a few elements in this story. And the main character, she defies stereotypes, and I really love that. Next, I have 2 books, a part of the same series, the Gunmetal Gods series. I loved the first book, Gunmetal Gods, and the novella, Death Rider. Why the first book is a 5 stars for me is because I really loved that 2 sides of a situation, the going back and forth. I'm really loving reading this series. And also Keva on one side, the warrior, the one that helped the Shah gain Constantinople, and also someone the Shah trusts. And on the other side, we have Micah the Metal. He kind of represents like a Christian champion, someone who wants to bring the faith to these people that have to be saved for the angel. So it's like, I really loved how strong the characters were, their motivations were solid, the choices they made, the way they moved through the narrative, and also the vivid way the world is described, the fantastical elements. I love a dark fantasy, and especially if it gets cosmic. The next 2 5 stars are both non-fiction books. First of all, Perfect Victims and the Politics of Appeal by Mohammed Al-Kurd. This non-fiction book is a book that everyone should pick up. I don't care if you agree or disagree. I think what's so important about this book is the fact that it's about how you view a situation. Why does one person get to be a victim and another person is not a victim? I really loved the choices this author was making, the way this author was describing the way the world has been reacting to the atrocities happening. And the second nonfiction on my list is Dear Centurion. That book is a nonfiction book, a memoir written by the author Akweke Emezi. I love Akweke Emezi and I really enjoyed reading this book, even in uncomfortable and sad parts, because this is this author's journey. This is why this author has chosen to write the books that they has written and how their life and interaction has been in the period that they chose to share with us. I love the references to the different books that they were writing. I love the reflecting on how Freshwater was published and what kind of reaction this had at the time, because Akweke Emezi was still in school, what kind of reaction their peers had, their teachers, their mentors. I think I really loved the way that they discussed the external impact of success and also also what happens after your first book has been noticed. I really love the struggle, the journey, and the reflecting on the choices they made. I think if you like Akwaeke Emezi as an author, I would definitely recommend you pick up this book. The next two books are both books by the great African author Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and one is called Decolonizing the Mind, The Politics of Language in African Literature, and the second one is called Decolonizing Language and Other Revolutionary Ideas. Ngugi wa Thiong'o is an author I heard a lot about, but I've never picked up anything by him, and reading these two books, I was amazed by his mind. I've watched a lot of interviews and read a lot of essays that he has written, and I am now starting to tackle his fiction books. It's always amazing when I find an author that has like this very intentional writing style and also very informed, and he has a very clear opinion on the way we are as Africans and how the way we have to think about Africa and the way we think about specifically language and identity. I just love listening to him. The next book is There's No Anti-Memetics Division by QNTM or Stephen Hughes. I really love this book. This is a sci-fi book. It has like cosmic elements. It's terrifying or not, depending on what kind of horror you love. It's primarily a sci-fi book. The reason I say it's a horror to me, because imagine a world where there's like this second layer of entities and things that are doing their thing, and you go through your life not knowing that. I think the moment that the veil is lifted would be my most scary moment ever. There's No Anti-Memetics Division is about a division that supposedly doesn't exist, and this division's main task is destroying memetics. Memetics could be anything. They can be a concept. There's a variety of things that can be a memetic, and I think the creativity and the horrific aspects and the ways that the memetic can infiltrate your life, I think I really love the way this author tackled this part. For example, there's this memetic, and it can like take over and destroy you completely, but as long as you don't know it exists, then it can't do anything to you. But the moment you know about it, it knows about you. So very terrifying. And the last book that I want to talk about today is Futility by Nzo Una. I read this book in my summer reading vlog, and I loved it. It was such a surprise because I thought it was going to be a book that I liked, but I didn't know that it was going to be a book that I love. We have this main character, Chia. Chia has kind of sold her soul to the devil. This is a story set in Lagos, and there are other entities. So I say the devil in this general sense. So let me just say, she made a deal with an entity, and she is happily handing over men, chopping them, cooking them, serving them to the men that visit her restaurant. She is known in Lagos as the lady with the restaurant that has the best spicy soup. She's also known because of her beauty, but her beauty is kind of a glamour because every man that enters this restaurant sees her as his ideal version of a woman. She is going on with her life, getting the things that she wants, wishing for whatever that pleases her, while she is sacrificing men to this entity when her path crosses with Claire. Claire is this white British woman. She used to be a police officer, and now she lives in Lagos, and she is entitled, bigoted, and also thinks that her money and her skin color grant her a different kind of treatment. When those two women, when their paths cross, things go to depths I didn't even expect were possible. This book was disgusting, was intense, was funny. I love the satiric elements, but I also really love the culture, and those characters felt very real, and I really enjoy characters that are very well established. This is every book that I give 5 stars so far this year. Are there books that I mentioned that intrigued you enough to add to your TBR? Have you already read a few of these books? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and bye.